Salamander Grade is lighting things up out here, and we have some interesting tech choices as well. Make sure you guys smash the little crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. We have the Melbourne, Australia regional breakdown for you here. And I gotta tell you, it's nice to get the chance to see some data out of Australia right now. It's been a little while, but I'm happy to see that we're able to pull out some interesting stuff here. Now, we had very strong meta representation for this event. We had triple Fire King taking up to the stand out here with this. Now, the Fire King variation, you can thank Ukulonics. I think the Fire King build has kind of pushed itself ahead of the rest of the meta, not like necessarily in a bad way, but it's enough that you've got to recognize how the meta is kind of shaping up around this deck and being a very, very strong polar side of the game. We also have two Tempai present for this event, and I think that that's fine. Looking at Tempai out here and how crazy it actually is, this is really, really interesting just to see, you know, Tempai actually won this event, which is kind of interesting. We also had one Snake Eyes variation. We have some, I mean, that's very, very strong, but the innovation lies in Ubel for this event. Ubel was pulling off some of the biggest tech choices that I have actually seen out here for the deck. Like, most of us have looked at the deck and we're just like, oh yeah, this deck is dead. No, actually, this Ubel list was going above and beyond with some of the choices that it had access to in its card pool, which is very, very, very interesting to be thinking about out here. And then we also had a Salamander Great deck also entering into the arena out here, doing some very, very strong stuff, actually. Like, I'm actually very happy to see Salad actually kind of returning to the table out here and getting the chance to do things. So overall, this regional breakdown is very meta-heavy. Your Rogue Challenger is something very, very nice, and I'm happy to see that, and the tech choices are very nice. Let's pass on over to Declan. Winning our event here was none other than, to nobody's surprise ever, Tenpai. So we are playing the one Magna Hut, which is fine. I mean, you still want to play this. But this build went all the way in on the Mulch Armies, which, you know what? Screw it. If you can see these and you can get them to resolve, you're probably going to have a very strong chance of playing the game. Also, hard committing on the shifters, which is good. Hello, Ash, Blossom, enjoy spring. And of course, I mean, this package is fine. Also, 2 Lightning Storm, 2 Regeki. They actually cut out. We're not even playing Forbidden Droplet. I believe that the mentality here is you're just going to draw as many hand traps as you can possibly get to, and you're just going to go off to the races, which is actually not a terrible idea. Most of these hand traps that you're playing will probably get you places, honestly, but also packing in some crossouts down here. Okay, good stuff. Next up here, we have Cap Shell in our Ubel deck. But I mean, this is a Fiend. So basically, we're using this as a draw card, which is really, really cool, actually, because I hadn't really thought about using Cap Shell in this way to generate advantage, but this is pretty cool. Also sporting off 50 cards. And of course, we are playing one copy of the Morion in here, which is target one face with social monster on the field, change it to defense mode, control a level 5 or higher illusion, while this is in your graveyard, you can set this card to vanish when it leaves the field. Yeah, it's a recurability, switch something to defense mode, which is fine, actually. I like having this immediate resource that we can try to do some stuff with. It's also another sinful spoils for our deck, because, we're doing some deception lines of play in here. Also, tributing this card, you can tribute one monster from your hand or field. So you can tribute the Cap Shell also out of the hand to generate some value. It's so broken. I love that. Alright, we also have Fire Kings, So this build is going all the way in on triple Ukulonics. I can't really hate this. I think Ukulonics as a whole is a very, very strong card, but you get into some very interesting lines of thought with this deck. Also, 2 Deception, I do kind of agree. Having the hybrid build, actually focusing on just 2 of these, usually is probably going to be the better call, honestly. Still maximizing on the Fuwasses. This build's actually playing the Fire King Sanctuary. I feel, man, I can't even tell. Have more recent builds actually been doing this? Of course, this build's also side decking the zombie vampire, but we are also playing the Sky King Burn. Like this is fine. But actually seeing this side, because they wanted to play the little Fucho, so they don't actually die to the randomness out here. That is this. But I think the rest of this build looks just fine. You definitely got some interesting options going for you here. Ooh, we also have more Fire Kings for you. Now, you do see that there are some key differences between this and the other build. This build is going on to the 2 Diabell Star, where the other build was choosing to play 1, which is fine. I mean, you have your room for your innovations. Of course, Fire King Island stuff. This build's choosing to actually play the Fire King Skyburn in the build, which is fine. I also do see that we are also opting to play 2 Dominus Impulse in here as well. I mean, hey, I guess making room for the extra one of these versus cutting one of these, I can't really hate that. Like, that's fine. We also have the Agave Dragon, and looks pretty standard outside. I mean, you also have the Biosteels, you also have the Tack Talents down here. This build is actually not playing any Thrust. That's kind of interesting. Thrust always feels like such a strong staple card. Now, like, you want to see it as a one-of. You know, if you're able to actually resolve it, it does usually put you into a game-breaking position. So that's interesting to see. Ooh, our Salamangreat deck actually playing the final bringer of the end of times. Yes, I send one of my monsters, you send one of your monsters. Well, actually, this sends any card. It's way better than that, actually. Also, the fact that you can Balinix wheelchair protect this is really, really good, too, because this literally says, target a card you control, 1 card your opponent controls, and destroy them. So the wheelchair cat literally gets to wheel this on out and protect itself. We are also playing the Dominus Impulses in this. Very, 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 very good option here. I like this. I also see that we are playing Typhoon down here, as well, just as a back row removal option, just to kind of make sure, you know, hey, we've met the conditions for this, we can do some things, and I don't see any issues with that, actually. Like, that's fine. Outside of that, I mean, this list looks pretty standard, honestly. Like, Dominus Impulses, Code of the Soul, I think you've got everything you want in here. Okay. Whoa, more Fire Kings. This build breaking the mold here and going for 45 cards. This build's also playing 2 Garunics. Whew. Oh my, we're going even further beyond out here. Okay. Not a super big fan of that, but you know what? That's fine. Also, this build's playing Rangbali as well. Okay, well, you do have room for, I guess, are we going to call this innovation? You have room to make decisions out here to kind of allow you to do some cool things. You also have the Kirin, the Divine Karate, and of course, Scattershot, that Time Killer. And look, another list actually playing the Typhoons, actually. The fact that this Typhoon is actually back as a working active hand trap in the meta is really, really cool, actually. But outside of that, I mean, deck looks cool. You got your options pretty much locked in. And I'm happy about that, actually. I really, really am. All right. Oh, more basic butt Tempai. Well, you're playing 1 copy of Fadra, of course. You have the Regekis for the smashing of the boards, as you should be. 1 Desires in here is kind of interesting. Though, to be fair, I don't really see this as much of an issue. It's kind of like one of those extenders. If you do hit it, you can ramp on up and keep going. And then, of course, Fulawases, Perulias, like all the standard draw power in the world. I feel like this is probably the way to go now, I guess, playing all the cards in the world. See what you can do. Quagmire Draco, and of course, Book of Eclipses, doing everything they need to do in here. And of course, we're back on those Crossroad Detonators down here. This feels very much like the other list. Very, very close. Tempai right now, very ignorant deck. Going to continue to be a very ignorant deck for a while more. Especially, you know, when you get access to all these Mulcharmies in here, and suddenly, you know, it's like it's an unfair game. I, too, love massive draw power to draw into the OTK. And then we have some regular old Snake Eyes for you out here. See the Deceptions in here. You do have ye old Temple of the Snake Eyes. Going with the 2 Birch, which is fine. Of course, we are doing the Birth for the double Unicorn Fenrir play. I feel like that's a pretty normal occurrence in here. You want to be stepping through as many of the lines as you actually can to try to generate some advantage. Exercising the Impulses. Okay. And of course, we have some Biosteels down here as well. Yeah, this looks what I would deem as pretty standard good stuff. So that's all I got for this regional. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.